And you say, well, I asked gangsters, because I knew people that worked for Al Capone, how do you maintain honesty in gangs? Because if they're bad people that steal a lot, how do you maintain honesty? Very easy, they said. I leave my wallet on the table with a $5 bill sticking out, and I leave the building. And if it's gone when he gets back, they beat the shit out of the guy that took it. Do you understand? So never fuck with us. Only the people outside, and they're all highly disciplined, unless gangs are broken up and the chief is arrested, then it undergoes variations. Can you understand what I'm saying? They are more disciplinary than the army. If you're in the drug business, they make goddamn sure you don't smuggle some of the drugs under your seat in the car, so you take advantage of the organization. And the organization has guys that watch you on every move you make before you become qualified. Now, they don't do that with the police department. Because I remember black guys in the community used to shoot crap in the streets. And a police car would pull over, the black guys would run away, leaving their money in, and the police would pocket the money. So, who are the bad guys? Who are the good guys? They're all full of shit. The whole system. So I never found an organization that was truly Christian-like. I've never met a Christian yet. There might be some out there. A Christian is a guy that'll work for so many years, save up so much money, maybe even become a doctor, and go to an undeveloped country and work for nothing to help. That's a real doctor. But if a doctor goes to school to become a doctor because he can make a lot of money as a doctor or a lawyer, that's not the kind of people I'm talking about. So when a person says, if you have no money, what's going to drive a person? Because what drove Martin Luther King? Nobody said, we're going to follow 50,000 in the Swiss bank if you do what we say. He did it because he believed in it. Same with Gandhi. He walked through India. He wore rags, just fabric, no clothing. He was a lawyer. And he said he wanted England to free India. He believed in that. Nobody paid him off. The same with everybody, Jesus, or anybody that did anything for society usually worked for nothing. Louis Pasteur was not a doctor. He was a chemist. He didn't like people being bitten by rabid dogs, and he went to work. Nobody paid him for what he did. Edison worked on the electric lamp. No company came over. The gas company didn't give him money to work on an electric lamp. He worked on it. Same with Alexander Graham Bell on the telephone. He was not an electrical engineer. Alexander Graham Bell used to teach the deaf to speak. Did you know that? And he invented his own ways. He had a candle in front of him, and he said, soup, soup, and the deaf would watch the candle move, and then soup, feel the air, and get him to speak, teach him how to speak. And when he learned what speech was, he then accidentally ran into a needle scratching something, and it made a certain sound, like, huh, huh, just one sound. Then he had a needle mounted on the thing, and he spoke into a big diaphragm, and it pushed the needle as he spoke up and back. Then he put it on a cylinder, and the cylinder turned. He didn't make that. He bought it, the cylinder. And then when he spoke, it scratched the cylinder while it was turning. But nobody ever sat down and invented a phonograph. You discover little aspects, and he was not, Alexander Graham Bell was not an electrical engineer. And everything new usually comes from outside the establishment. Wouldn't be coming from a person raised in this city with the value system of this city. A new social arrangement will never come, because that person goes to school, he learns that system, and they make him like everybody else. That's the whole idea of uniformity, so you can control people. You make them uniform. Everybody respects Fresco. I don't want you to. I want you to listen to what I say. If it doesn't make sense, get off. If it makes sense to you, carry on. But don't honor me, because I find it a privilege to help people understand what makes us the way we are. But if you make a statue of me and put it in the parks, it holds people back. Because they admire Fresco in the old days that designed these cities that were okay then, but not okay for the future. That's why what bothers me is when I drive by a high school, I see a cannon in front of school. And I see warplanes in front of libraries, and soldiers on horses, in the parks with guns, assassins, all of them. And they show movies of a guy getting a medal. Well, to me, they're all bums and assassins, but they don't know any better. It's not their fault. You understand? I'm sure even if you're in the Army, you don't know that. When I was in the Army, I tried to undo Army men, and I was very successful. Then I noticed I was given basic training in Biloxi, Mississippi. That's the asshole of the world. And I missed the target by 3 feet because I didn't want to go overseas. I had a lot to do socially. And the other guys were hitting the target. They were shipped out in the battle, especially the people that didn't understand that. So I said, gee, I'm going to try to turn people around. And they used to have, in Biloxi, Mississippi, they had 15 sweat boxes. Do you know what that is? That's a tin box up on stilts in all the prisons, the Army prisons. And if a guy didn't behave 3 or 4 times, they put him in a sweat box. It was so hot in the sun that the guy would bang on it and said, I'm going crazy, let me out. And when a guy came out, especially if he was black, a minority, they put him in a sweat box faster. And I saw this black guy come out of the sweat box, fall on his knees and kiss the sergeant's feet and says, don't never put me in that box again, I'll do anything you say. You understand? Torment and torture and prejudice. So I went to see the Catholic priest in the Army. And I said, Father, will you follow me? He said, sure, soldier. I was a private. And he followed me, and I said, do you know what those are? He says, yeah, they're sweat boxes. I said, that isn't Christian life. So he said, I don't want to get involved with the military police. And he went back. Then I took a Lutheran priest and brought him out there, and a rabbi. I don't want to get involved with the military police. They were not Christians. They were phonies as far as I'm concerned. They would have protested torment, torture, and even the war. Because in the Bible it says, thou shalt not kill. It doesn't say Wednesdays and Saturdays, it's okay. It says, thou shalt not kill. And so Christians, to me, became opportunists, and they fell in line with their country. In Italy, they blessed the war tanks, the Catholics. And in America, they blessed the American war tanks with holy water. You ever see that? So to me, they don't know what the hell they are. They're phonies. A phony is a person that says, I believe one thing and doesn't matter. Okay? So the society I'm talking about, we have no government. If you have access to anything you need, what do you need a government for? But you do have planners that plan highways, transportation, and how do they plan transportation? A senator once called me and said, Fresco, I didn't realize you're going to work on a highway project. Can you bring the highway a little closer in that direction and then turn off? I said, why? He says, I have 200 acres in that area. And if the highway goes over that way, it increases the value of the acreage. Do you understand what I'm saying? The money system is not good. Even if you got 100 people in government, if 4 are corrupt, that hurts the government. Now, corrupt meaning they take a lot of money for themselves, for their own cause. Well, if their brother manufactures machine guns and they say we have to have defense in this country, and his brother-in-law owns a factory, he can deposit money in the Swiss bank for you. So I'm afraid of the money system. I don't understand when people come over to me and they say, I got just the house you're looking for. Are they doing it for money? Are they trying to help me? Or when a doctor says you need chemotherapy for 3 months, cancer earns a lot of money for hospitals. Used to, when I was a kid, a doctor would come to your house for $3 and he'd ask, how's the family, and get to know you. But today, here's the way the hospitals work. No more than 20 minutes as they come through. The more people that come through, the higher the earning ability. Do you understand that?